The plan was to demolish only vacant huts, not the ones still occupied. But the police were making no distinction on Tuesday. This couple climbed on their own roof to frustrate the authorities and save their shelter, but they were quickly tackled and removed by riot police. Many of these huts are built of sturdy timber and plywood, completed just 2 weeks ago by the charity CARE for Calais. Its coordinator spoke of her heartbreak at the decision to send in the bulldozers.
If you go back to where we were this time last year, there was a number of small camps dotted around Calais with people sleeping in fields, sleeping next to churches, living on the street, and that's why this camp was created. It was created to move all the refugees here to one place, to stop the problems that local residents were having, to make it easier for us to look after them, and to consolidate. And at that time the refugees were promised that if they moved to this land they would not be evicted. That promise has now been broken, and all I can see is us going back to that situation, and I can't see that's good for anyone.
With sledgehammers and chainsaws and even mechanical diggers, the authorities here at the Calais camp are making quick work of demolishing the huts in this southern sector of the jungle, and the residents of this particular part of the camp are being forced to confront the reality that staying here is no longer an option. Last week, in a food tent, Al Jazeera met Iraqi refugee Abdel Mahdi al-Zagir. In Basra, he'd been a police officer until being forced to flee. His dream was to make the crossing from Calais to a new life in the UK. By chance, we met him again on Tuesday, boarding a bus out of the jungle and away to a refugee centre in southern France.
I have 4 kids. I would like my kids to study in France and serve the French nation and people and be good citizens. The jungle doesn't serve me or anyone there any good, as there is no hope the UK borders will open.
And the authorities reject the idea that these people will simply gravitate back here to Calais.
80% of the migrants who've gone to the centres have claimed asylum in France. It's a sustainable operation. We've been doing this since October. We're now in March. We'll continue as long as there are migrants here in very difficult conditions.
The impact of this clearance programme is disputed. The authorities say 1,000 people will be moved. Campaigners say it's closer to 3,500. And there is disagreement too over the alternative accommodation being offered. What's indisputable is that the demolition is going ahead regardless. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, the jungle in Calais.